Welcome back to the Installer Spotlight series, where we share positive stories of women in the industry and get their insights into how we can encourage more women into similar roles. I'm Jess Shanahan, and I'm delighted to welcome Becky Shuck, who has had a varied career in the industry and is now Business Development Manager at Grundfos. Hello, Becky. Welcome.
Hi,
Can you start by sharing a little bit about how you got into the industry and what's your career path been so far?
Yeah, it was a bit of a strange one, really. I didn't after my A levels, I didn't particularly know what I wanted to do, and I saw an advertisement, quite a big advertisement in our local paper, where they were developing a new heating spares company. And I was really intrigued. So I went along for the interview, and whilst at the interview, I saw that there was 15 members of male staff, and I thought, this is what I want to do. I want to come into a male-dominated business and try to succeed. So from there, I've had different job roles. I was a sales assistant to begin with, and then I went on to a supervisor, branch manager. Then I opened my own business, and then I've worked for Grundfos and had two roles within Grundfos, one as an ASM and then the business development manager's role.
That's fantastic. So, looking back on your career, have there been any highlights so far?
Yeah, definitely. I think from when I first started my first job, I was then approached by a different company to go and work for them. And when I asked how they'd heard about me, it was from the engineers' feedback. So that just gave me great confidence. When I started out, I didn't really know much about the trade. And to actually get recommendations, that just made my confidence really grow. And then starting my own business. When we had our business, we won the Local Heroes Award, and that was for
Amazing.
starting the business and for the charity work that we did. And then obviously Grundfos, from actually getting the job, which I didn't think I was going to get at the time, getting the job and then being promoted within Grundfos.
That's brilliant. So, you mentioned at the beginning that, you came into this male-dominated industry. What has it been like for you climbing the ladder as a woman in the industry?
Probably two halves. When I began, it was so long ago, there actually really weren't that many women. In fact, when I started the first job, I didn't know any of the women that were on the trade counter. So that came with, it was positive in some ways, but you did always get the engineers that would come in and say, can I speak to one of the lads? But you were the lads. So I think it was a lack of confidence and a lack, didn't think that you had the ability to ask the questions. So that was a bit tough to begin with. And then a little bit sexualized in some of the comments that men made. So that was a little bit difficult, but it just made me more stronger and more determined. And that's not the case anymore. Everything's changed. There's so many women. It's the norm to have women on the trade counters. I think everyone's attitude has changed. So yeah, it's a tale of two halves, really, from the beginning and the end.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you were running your own business, it was an all-female business, wasn't it?
It was, yeah, there was three ladies.
That's brilliant. So what was that like? What was kind of the perception of that business at the time?
Oh, it was fantastic, honestly, and I'm so proud of what we achieved. I think we sort of took Redditch by storm because there was a lot of articles in the newspaper, like three local ladies take on the male industry. But the customers were it was overwhelming, the response of the customers. I'd already got some customer base anyway, but I think we filled a gap in the market. There wasn't any heating spares companies within Redditch. The customers had to travel to Bromsgrove. So that support. And we just wanted to make our business a little bit different. So we all made friends with the wives of the engineers. We took them to Ladies' Day at Stratford Races and built sort of like a family community. So that was great. There was a little bit of pushback from competitors. That wasn't very good, but I just think that every competition's healthy and there's enough work out there for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great and such a nice approach. So
Yeah,
from when you started, obviously, to now, you've touched a little bit on how things have changed, but what would you say are the big changes within the industry since you first came into it?
I think as I said before, it's the attitudes. It's accepted now that women are there. Men, the engineers, they don't ask to speak to one of the lads. I think it just wasn't the norm before. So everybody's attitude have changed. And it's the fact that women actually want to get into these roles and women enjoy the roles.
Yeah, absolutely. So thinking about what Grundfos is doing, what is the organization doing to kind of encourage more women into the industry, but also nurture the women that are already within the business?
Yeah, so Grundfos have like a real strong diversity procedure, and in the last few years, they've set themselves a roadmap and targets. So now we've got 15% of females in executive leadership roles, 25% leadership roles for females, and then 50 female graduates to encourage them females to come to work for the company. And then
That's
within the
brilliant.
business, they're just the opportunities are endless, really. They've paid for me to do a diploma. We've been on an ambitious negotiating course. If there's something that you feel that you need help with, they've got a support mechanism in place to help you with that.
That's fantastic. And what has the response been like from new starters within the business and also, people that have been there a bit longer? What's the response been like to that support and how has it impacted those people?
I think it goes to show that we've got people that have worked for the company for like 20, 21 years and they don't want to leave. There's very much of a family feel to Grundfos. And because we get all of the support, not just professionally, but on a family basis, it encourages people to stay. But new starters, I think, they come to me and go, I can't believe how good it is. I can't believe it. It's great. You've always got someone to lean on. And I think we're all really open and transparent with each of them. There's always somebody to call.
That's brilliant. So, what would you say, how important would you say women are in solving the current labor shortage within the industry? Obviously, there's a huge skills gap at the moment. Is
Yeah.
is it important that more women are coming into the workforce to kind of fix that problem?
I think so. Yeah, clearly the women do have the skill set that we need in the industry. I just feel that sometimes women probably don't know about that path, or they want to choose a more traditional role. So it's maybe about educating them to see what the potential is there. And then with childcare costs, I think that needs to be addressed. They've got the ability so they can come into the industry as well.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, what role do you think the organizations have to play in educating women and showing that these roles are available?
Just maybe doing more learning platforms or in colleges and things like that.
Mm.
We've gone to Grundfos as a company, we've done the female competition skills, and that's just
Hmm.
sort of coming out in colleges. So it's given colleges the opportunity to know what's on offer in the industry.
Brilliant. So, what advice would you give to any woman who's looking to work in the industry?
That you don't have to choose a traditional career path, that you can go with whatever makes you happy. But if you did come into the industry, for myself, it was building a really good network,
Mm.
whether that be with key suppliers or within the industry, and really have a mentor, because each one of my managers or colleagues or even customers actually have been mentors to teach me along the way. And just make sure that you always speak up and be assertive and share your ideas, because I think sometimes I always felt like, oh, I don't want to say that just in case I'm silly, and then that's been the best idea that I've ever had.
Nice. So, just one final question to finish on. Were there any resources or people who played a pivotal role in your career?
Yeah, again, as I said, Grundfos have really helped me professionally on the courses that they funded, and making sure that I know everything. And it is literally every single manager that I've had in some kind of capacity have shared something with me that I've took on board. And the colleagues that I've worked with and my customers, I've gained so much knowledge, but not just the knowledge, they've bigged me up. So, I didn't have much confidence to begin with, and now I've got
Mm.
loads more confidence, and it's feeling safe in the environment that we're in.
That's brilliant. And how would you say that's impacted your career as a whole, kind of giving you that confidence? How has that helped you get to where you are now?
It's helped me massively, because before I just I didn't think that I would be able to get any promotions, and by having the belief in myself and the self-confidence, I've applied for every promotion that's there, and it's wanting better for myself as well. You know, it's hard when you don't know. I didn't know that much about maths, and Grundfos put me through my maths GCSE, and I've passed it. So by having the confidence, believing in yourself and trying hard things, not everything comes easy, so you've got to push yourself, and having the support for everybody at Grundfos has really helped me to do that.
That's brilliant. What an inspirational note to finish on. Becky, thank you so much for your time, and thank you to Grundfos as well for being a partner on this series of interviews. I hope everyone watching will be able to join us on the 27th of June at the Installer Show, where we'll be speaking to our wonderful Spotlight guests in a special panel session. Hope to see you there.